Hey you guys, I'm gonna try and tilt this so you don't get that lamp showing up. That might be a little bit better. Okay. Hi. Hello everyone. Let me get Instagram going here. So we have an exciting thing happen. I'm gonna wait till Instagram comes up. Hi Instagram people. We have something exciting happening today. Should I tell my other announcements before the exciting announcement? I will. First of all, I want to remind you guys that I have a one time only. This is only happening once. It's never going to happen again. Never say never, they say, right? But I really don't think it's going to happen again. One time only live week-long immersion in magic that's going to be at my shop January 7th through 11th. So it's 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, Monday through Friday. We're going to meet from like noon to 6 o'clock every day, and we're going to do magic every day. We're going to learn. I've got my list here of all the things that are going to go on. Manifestation magic, herbal magic, working with divination, doing mojo bags and jack balls, doing candle magic, creating a candle spell, cleansing magic, making bath crystals, sympathetic magic, making poppets. We're going to do it all. So it's going to be an amazing week-long immersion, and it's going to be happening at my shop in Los Angeles at the Parlor of Wonders in Los Angeles in January 7th through 11th. So I'm hoping that some of you guys will come. This is such an awkward angle. Sorry. I'm hoping that some of you guys will come. So if you want to find out more about this, go to academyofthemagicalarts.com. Academy of the Magical Arts is my URL. Oh, come on. Sorry, guys. It's going to be happening January 7th through 11th. Okay, go onto my site, go under instruction, go to Academy of Magical Arts, and you'll find it. Next thing that's happening. If you are a person who is a magical person who wants to start a business or has a little business that they're just starting, you're a tarot reader, you make something magical, you do something like that, I am opening up another mastermind. We are regrouping a mastermind that was happening on Sunday. We're opening it up. It's going to be taking place every other Sunday. So the first and third Sundays of the month at 12 p.m., 12 noon Pacific time. So if you are available on Sundays twice a month and you want to be part of a magical mastermind group, it's going to be happening. This is the one for beginners, though. If you're an experienced person, probably not the right match for you. But if you are someone who is just starting a business or wants to start a business, then this is the perfect one for you. And we're going to be starting that in December. So I'm going to put up a thing on Instagram about it, but that's the other thing. The very exciting news that I wanted to share with you before we get started on our questions. So get your questions in now because we're going to be answering questions in a minute. Type your questions in and we'll get those to those. The exciting news is that I have a new video, and there's a new thing that they do on YouTube, which is called a premiere of a video. And so we're going to be doing that today, right after our Q&A here. We're going to have 30 minutes of chit chat on the video thing where I'll be there, and you can type in your questions underneath and I will answer them. Now that's only on YouTube, and I'll find out, if you just bear with me for a second, I'll find the URL for it and I'll post it in the YouTube chat. I'm a little unprepared. Sorry, guys. Let's see what's going on. I was rushing and doing readings today. I wasn't really preparing for this, but let's see if I can get to it. If you subscribe to me on YouTube, you should have gotten a notification about it. Okay, here it is. I'm coming up with it. Now, what's exciting about this premiere is that, number one, this premiere is going to be a lover's passion spell. Very excited about that. Okay, I got the link. Okay, I'm going to post it into the chat on, and I think it'll go to the top. There's the link. I just posted in the chat on YouTube. That's what you want to go to at 6 o'clock when we're done here. We're at 5 o'clock right now. At 6 o'clock, go to that link. We'll all be in the same place together. We can talk about love spells. We're going to talk specifically about love spells on this chat because that's what this is about. This is a love spell video that I'm premiering. So for 30 minutes between 6 and 6:30, we're going to be chatting, meaning like typing chatting. And then at 6:30, the video starts. And while the video is going, we can also chat about what's going on in the video. So it's a new experiment. I've never done this before. We'll see how it goes, but it's really fun. And it will give me a chance to answer your questions. I think it's going to be maybe a smaller group, and I'll be able to answer your questions about love spells, anything you want to know about love magic, candle magic, using candle magic for love spells, and so on. So it's going to be a really fun time. So go to that link at 6 o'clock. Once we're done here, you go to that link and then we'll be good. All right. So let's get to some questions without further ado. So premiere happening at 6, the retreat happening in January. You want to sign up for that, the live retreat. By the way, that live retreat, if you can't make it to Los Angeles, you can join us virtually and get a recording. So it's a pretty cool thing. It's going to be 6 hours every day of magical, intensive work and learning how to do magic. So it's going to be great. And 5 days, 30 hours of work. It's amazing. All right. So let's look at our questions. I'm going to start over at YouTube. All right, YouTube guys. Hi. Hello, everyone. Oh, they're so cute. Mastermind group. So mastermind group on Sunday, the beginner mastermind group, we had some people leave. So we're reforming it, recalibrating it, and we're coming in together as a new mastermind group. Experienced mastermind group is going strong. Monday mastermind group, beginner mastermind group is going on. Sunday had a few people go. So we're starting over again with the Sunday one. Okay. All right. Yay, everyone. Okay, let's see. Okay, Wendy has a question. It's a good one. Wendy W. Hi, Wendy W. Can spells work on a narcissist? Yes and no. I mean, it depends. You're not saying what kind of spells. If you're having a spell that you're trying to change them not to be a narcissist, that's trying to change someone's personality. And that's a little challenging in spell work, to change someone's personality. I always think of the idea, if you are a person who, let's say, only likes men and you're not interested sexually in women, but you're interested sexually in men, to get someone to change you to like women would be a nigh on impossible, right? It's part of who you are. And so a narcissist is inherently in their personality a narcissist, right? Now, could we get that person to get help for their narcissism? That would probably be the way that I would work on them first. Start with something foundational so that they get into therapy and they start examining themselves and they start working on themselves to make themselves a better person. That's where I would start with anything. Before I would do a love spell, before I would do get them to give me a raise, before I would do whatever it is that I was trying to do on them, I'd try and get them to see and get some help for their mental condition. You know, we could say that that's a mental illness, it's a mental condition. We want them to be a better person and be a more compassionate, empathetic person and not so self-centered. So I would start with mental health spell. So for that, a mental health spell, you would start with a blue skull candle and then do healing oil on that candle so that they heal from their mental dilemma. I want to say mental illness. You want them to heal from that. So that's where I would start with any kind of work if you were working on a narcissist. And then once they start having that awakened awareness and they start working and improving themselves. But a narcissist is a tough one. There's a couple personality disorders that are really some tough ones. And narcissism, borderline personality, those ones are really tough because people are so convinced that they're right, you know. Let's go over to Instagram and see if we have any questions over there. I see a few questions. Let's get back to the first one. Hi, everybody. Okay, so Arg Girl has a question. Hi, I need a quick love attraction spell, but I can't find lots of things here overseas. So here's the thing. With any kind of magical work, it starts with intention. You don't need to have the fanciest gadget, the fanciest spell materials to do an effective spell. All spell work starts with intention. All spell work starts with the foundation of thought. Thought and belief and your words are the foundation of all magic. If you don't believe in your spell, but you light a candle, you can light 100 candles. But if you don't believe in the outcome of that candle is working toward, you're working against yourself and you're wasting a candle. So what I recommend is, if you don't need to have a candle, you don't need to have oils, you don't need to have those things. Those are there as support when your intention wavers, right? So for a very adept magician, they can focus their thought and their intention and their words on an outcome. I will be a millionaire. And they feel that feeling of being a millionaire, and they feel that energy of that, and they don't doubt it. They see it and they believe it and they know it's coming. And when they don't see a result right away, they still believe it. They still know it's coming. So it's the focused intention that creates the reality. But the reality that we experience is that most of us do this. I really want to be a millionaire, but I'm never going to get there. I really want to have this love in my life, but I'm never going to find anybody. We go backward and forward, backward and forward. And that's when candles, oils, herbs, mojo bags, all these other things come in to support the intention when we are wobbly with our intention. Okay. So, the people that are like, I don't have any money for a spell. I can't do a spell. I don't have any money. Or I live overseas where it's difficult to get, a love me oil or something like that. Those things are not necessary. First of all, you can make your own oil. You can buy a candle at the store. You don't have to have a candle that is specifically for that intention. But why do I sell these candles if you don't need them? Because the intention of the candle is another thing that's going to support your outcome when you are wobbly in your outcome. So in my example of the video that we're going to see tonight in the premiere, I'm using a lover's passion candle. So the lover's passion candle is an embracing couple. It comes in all these different colors. It's made out of beeswax. Those are 3 things that are going to help support your outcome. Color magic, right? The color of the candle. I want a really hot, passionate relationship. So you get a red candle. Or I want my relationship to get back to where it was before. I want to heal it. We had an argument. I get a blue candle. So you choose a color based on the outcome that you want. And that color supports your outcome. One thing, beeswax. I've worked with candles of all different kinds of wax. No problem. But beeswax has an energy to it that is profound, because for each ounce of wax, bees have to make 1 million trips to flowers. They have to hit 1 million flowers to just make 1 ounce of beeswax. Well, even the littlest candle that I sell is at least an ounce of beeswax. The tiniest candles that I sell are an ounce of beeswax. You've got the energy of 1 million bees, plus the sweetening of the honey. Plus, it's a living kind of product. It's not petroleum. Paraffin is made from petroleum, which is vegetable matter, but it's been fossilized and been dead for millions and millions of years, right? So you've got a real living, supportive, energetic, powerful thing. It's so close to being a living, the living plant, the living bees, all of their energy put into that. It's like having 1 million spirits working for you for every ounce of that beeswax. So when I work with beeswax, I see that my spell work is clearer, faster, better. It does it. Do I need a beeswax candle? No, I can go, if I don't have access to a beeswax candle, I can't afford it, I can't get it, whatever, I can use a birthday candle. It doesn't matter. But when you get to things that are more specific for your goal, you push it further, right? Can I enter a car race with my old 20-year-old car? Can I go enter a Grand Prix? Sure, I can take my car and enter a car race. But if I have the car that's designed for the car race, isn't it more likely that I'll get that outcome of doing better, that it's more likely that I'm going to win the car race with the proper equipment? So that's why I create the candles that I do, and I create the products that I do, because they're better equipment for getting the goal and reaching the goal. If you can't afford the race car, then drive the 20-year-old car and enter your car in the car race or whatever it is, right? But it's not to say don't do a spell, but get the proper equipment. So I'm going on a little tangent here, sorry. So if you don't have access to your tools, If you don't have access to oils, you don't have access to candles. All right, you're in a world where there's no candles. I mean, I think you can go to the store and get a candle, but if you're in a world where there's no candles, can you do a spell? Absolutely. It's about focus. So if you speak the intention, if you speak the words that that my love comes to me quickly, and I believe those words and I say those words out loud. As an adept magician, I can make it happen. I don't need anything. And the same applies to you. All you have to do is check yourself. Check yourself. If you start to have doubts, bring it back in again. Bring those thoughts back into the goal that you're wanting. Now, let's say you want to have some support for your spell. Go to the dollar store and get a candle. Go to your drawer where you have the emergency candles for when you're having the lights go out, or get a birthday candle or whatever. And now light that candle for your intention. Now you're supporting it just a little bit more. You're giving it a little boost. Do you have access to herbs? Then get the herbs that are used for love. I know there's herbs in our cupboard that are good for love, right? We can use cinnamon, we can use ginger, we can use basil, we can use rosemary. Those are all herbs that are in many people's cupboards. If you're a cook, you have those herbs, right? So you don't need to have exotic herbs. You don't need to have exotic candles. Those exotic herbs, some of them are very specific and very helpful. But if you don't have access to them, don't fret. Don't say, I can't do a spell. You can just do it with stuff that you have around. You can do it without anything. You can do it with your thought. You can do it with your words. You can write a petition paper, right? So all of those things are good. So don't say, oh my God, I don't have these things. Yeah. Use what you've got. All right. So, let me look at, oh, sorry, I'm trying to touch my computer screen. It's not moving because it isn't a touch screen. Okay. Marianne says, hi, Madam Pemita. Can you talk about jade? Why is jade crystal being so popular in Eastern culture and having a prominent place in many other religions, arts as well? I only work with jade. I don't know. I'm not an expert on Asian cultures. I don't know the significance of the meaning in jade in China, for example. I don't know it. I know that it is a very precious stone, but I don't know the specifics of what goes on in, legend and lore in China around jade. What I know about jade from working with jade as a crystal is that it is a prosperity and luck stone. So we use the jade, we carry jade, or we set it on our altar, or we, put it in our cash box, or do whatever to open up our prosperity. It's a stone of prosperity. It's a stone of luck. I'm guessing, my intuition is saying it's probably got a connection to the Chinese use of jade and what that probably carried over in some way or was transmitted in some way to that understanding of it. But I didn't go study, Chinese legend and lore about jade to find that information. I found that out in books about crystals and connecting with the crystal and working with the crystal. So I can't really speak to what it is, in any great detail, other than it is a stone for luck. It is a stone for prosperity. So there you go. All right, let's look over at Instagram. What can you ask the tarot to see if someone is using magic on you, and what kinds of cards indicate the answer? Thank you. Oh, this is Ismael Serrano. Okay. Well, that's a good question. You're asking for a kind of a big lesson in a very little answer. I can't spend, 7 hours talking. I could spend 7 hours talking about each of the cards and which cards mean what, but I can't really do that. So I'm going to give you some cards that are a clue, a combination that's a clue. That doesn't mean that this is the only cards that are cards that indicate someone is doing work, but they are a pretty good indication. All right. When you are doing a reading with the tarot and you are asking a question, Has someone done some work on me, right? When you throw out the cards for that, you should first of all see a court card show up. A court card is one of the cards that represent people. Pages, knights, queens, and kings. If it's a queen or king, you can say, if king is someone with masculine energy, queen is someone with feminine energy. Knight is a person who is kind of I would say, a kind of a young adult, and a page would be someone who's very young, teenager or child, right? So if you're asking specifically, show me if someone is doing work on me, I would throw out maybe 5 cards, 6 cards, and look to see if a court card came up. That would indicate that someone is involved, that who it is, and it would tell me who it is. All right. Now, the other thing you would want to see is what kind of work that they're trying to do. There's lots of cards that are showing up, that could be negative cards. I'm only going to talk about the most negative ones, but there's some that are kind of a little negative and could indicate some things. But basically, if you see a devil card showing up, that's a sure sign that somebody's doing some dirty work on you. If you see a tower card show up, that's probably somebody trying to destroy something that you've made, or destroy your happiness, or destroy something. So those kind of very intense, very negative cards, along with a court card, would indicate that somebody's working on you. If you don't see the court card, but let's say you see the devil card, or you see the tower, or you see one of these negative cards, 3 of swords or whatever, then that would indicate that those things are happening, but they may not be coming from a person. It may be some energy that's around you. It could be an entity that's around you. It could be that you picked up some, negative energy just out in the world that has nothing, it's not personal. So that wouldn't be necessarily a person doing a curse on you, but just some stray negativity that you picked up and that you would do a cleanse around. Either way, you could do a cleanse and get rid of it, Epsom salt, sea salt, or getting some bath crystals and do a cleanse around it. But if you're specifically asking, what do I see when I look for if somebody's doing work on me, you're looking for a person, a card representing a person, and a card representing what kind of work they're doing. But there's all different kinds of cards that can show all different kinds of work. So those are just a couple of them, but there are other ones that would indicate people blocking you, or people trying to make sure that you're poor, and all kinds of things. But yeah, the big ones would be Tower card and the Devil card, showing up along with a person. And that's where it comes from. You need to take my tarot class next time I offer it in the spring, and then you'll know all about that. So, all right. So let's look back at YouTube. Hi, Carmen. She's been in school. I hate algebra. I'm with you, girl. No math for me. I do not enjoy math. All right, let's see. Mystic Girl, the Crossroads. This is a great question. You come up with some good ones. Mystic Girl, the Crossroads. It says, hi, if your ancestor reincarnates, would it be pointless to set up an ancestor altar? If you have someone that has reincarnated, there's an essence of their energy. And so you aren't appealing to their spirit like a free-floating spirit, but their spirit exists in a new body. So you still can connect to your ancestors even if they've reincarnated. Meaning, let's say grandpa, we'll just say that. Grandpa, you want to connect to your grandpa. You loved your grandpa. He was super sweet. He was the best, and you miss him, and you loved him, and he loved you, and you want to connect to him. All right. So you set up an ancestor altar to grandpa. Now, let's say grandpa has reincarnated, is now a little kid running around somewhere. The essence of grandpa is not going to be like the spirit guide looking over your shoulder and advising you. In fact, I found that when spirits reincarnate, they go silent, meaning they're not in your guide council. They go back into a physical body, and they're temporarily not in your guide council as long as they're in a living body. So, but the essence of who your grandpa was still exists. So doing an ancestor altar to honor him is like honoring that spirit that's now in a little child somewhere. It's still who he is, and you can still honor it. It doesn't have to be that he's this ghost looking over your shoulder. He can be in a body and you can still be honoring his spirit, even though he's in a new body. So I would say the ancestor altar and having that connection to your ancestor is a beautiful thing, whether they're in spirit form or they're in physical form. But the thing that you won't get is you won't get messages from your guides when they are in physical form. That just doesn't happen. So sometimes people will ask me to do connect to their guides, and they'll say, "Hey, I want to talk to, so and so," and I'll be like putting the ping out there to talk to them, and I'm not getting anything, and that is a sure sign that they've already been reincarnated, so they're not available to take that call. So yes, so you can do an ancestor altar for sure because his spirit is existing still. It's just you won't get like the messages and the guidance from him. So that's a different kind of connection. You're still honoring him. You're still connecting him to him. All right. Let's see. Hi, everybody on Instagram. Hi, you guys. So sweet. Oh, you guys are so nice. I love these messages. So sweet. T McGovern 577 says, "Are you going to feature examples of real magic that has worked for yourself or others?" Are you asking about the videos that are coming up, or are you asking about? Well, I mean, everything that I do is real magic that has worked. I've been doing candle magic for 34 years now. And I've tried everything under the sun. And I only, the things I test everything. So everything is tested. There's nothing that I show you or teach you or do that hasn't been tested dozens and dozens and dozens and sometimes hundreds of times by me. So if you are asking if the things that I'm showing in the video or the things that I'm teaching here, are they going to be real and tested? Everything is. I don't talk about things that I don't know or have any experience. I mean, the example was the jade thing. I don't know about jade and its use in Asian culture because I don't know about it. So I'm not going to pretend that I know about it or talk about it as if I know about it. I only know about it in context of crystal magic, right? Crystal work. So everything that I talk about, everything that I teach, everything that I show, all the videos I show are all things that are tested and work. There's nothing that I teach that hasn't worked for many, many, many people, So whether myself or other people, I only do some spells for myself, but I do all kinds of spells for clients. And there's some spells that I don't do. I don't do curse work. I don't do any kind of negative work. I don't call in demons. I don't do any of those things. Not my jam, not interested in it. Don't care about it. Not into it. That's all right. Someone else might be, but I don't teach it because I don't do it, right? I only teach what I do and I only teach what I know. So you'll never see a video of me how to do a curse on someone. I can guarantee 100% that you're never going to see that because I don't do that work. So I can't speak to it. So yes, so the video is going to be something that I know works, that I've worked before. It's amazing spell. So if that's what you're asking about, I'm not sure if that's what you're asking about, but if that's what you're asking about, yes, it's going to be amazing. Okay. All right. So Justin Delgado says, how do you reverse a love spell? We're looking over at YouTube. How do you reverse a love spell? Good question. Depends on what kind of love spell you've done. If you've done kind of an unbinding, then you have to, a binding spell, then you have to do some kind of unbinding. If you've done some kind of looser attraction work, then you need to do a cleansing. A cleansing spell, a spiritual cleansing is beautiful. If you've done a poppet, then you've got to release that poppet. It's different depending on what kind of spell you've done. How intense has the binding been, or how intense has the work been? If it's lighting a candle, let's say, for example, you lit a candle to get someone to fall in love with you. They fell in love with you, but then they turned out to be not the person that you really thought they were, or not what you wanted. Then do a nice separation spell. You can do an easy separation spell. Separation spell, you, other person, you take 2 candles representing the 2 of you, figural candles if you like. Black for clearing or white for clearing and cleansing. You could do black if you really want, if it's a hard one, but if it's just like, I want us to go away, then you could use white candles and do separation oil. And then over the course of 7 days, march those candles step by step away from each other. Take the wax from your candle, take the wax from the other candle, and leave them in crossroads that are far apart from one another. There you have it. Separation spell. Separation oil, by the way, is for peacefully separating, losing interest in one another. And if you want someone to lose interest in you, it's not as if you want to have an argument or you want to have something chaotic. You just want to lose interest and let it die out. So separation oil is perfect for that. You could also take separation oil and put it on something that they'll touch with the intention that they leave you alone, that you guys go your separate ways, just peacefully. Yeah. So there you go. Instagram. Should we do magic during Mercury retrograde? Absolutely. Let's talk about Mercury retrograde, boys and girls. One of my favorite topics. If you were around 5 or 10 years ago, Mercury retrograde was no big deal. It was NBD. It was not a big deal. People saw Mercury retrograde for what it was, which is basically, it's a time to do all the things. Retro begins with RE, all those verbs that begin with RE. Revisit, revise, realign, reassign, any verb that begins with the prefix RE would be perfect work to do during Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde in the last 5 years has become like Chicken Little, the sky is falling. And me, who has been doing magic for a really long time, kind of being like the little lady's like, yeah, you kids with your Mercury retrograde. Yeah, back in my day, we didn't bother with the Mercury retrograde. We didn't bother with the Mercury retrograde. Why? Because Mercury retrograde, yes, it's real, but it is not the sky falling. Despite what everyone would have you believe, that chaos breaks out, that it's like the most horrible thing and everything is bad. That is not Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is specifically this. Mercury is the planet of communication and technology. So communication and technology that is destined, or you're designing it to start something new and move forward, you will have to redo over again, right? So let's say, for example, I send a message to you and you don't get the message. That's a Mercury retrograde thing. All right. Is it a big deal? Maybe, maybe not. But I can type the message again and send it to you, make sure that you got it and double check and do things like that. Perfect. Would I start a new business during Mercury retrograde? Absolutely not. Could I go back and fix the old business? It's an amazing time for that. Can I go back and fix a relationship where we had a miscommunication? Absolutely. It's an amazing time for that. Can I go back and the business that I've already started, or the job I've already started, or the project that I've already started, smooth things over, make things better, refine, revise, all those RE words. There we are again. Can I do that? For sure. It's an amazing time for that. So remember that retrogrades are times that we go back. We're just going back to fix things. No big deal. Do you want to start a new business during that time? No. Do you want to sign a new contract for something during that time? No. Do you want, why? Because you're going to have to do it over again. There's going to be some glitch and you're going to have to fix it again. So why do the work twice? Wait till the Mercury's out of retrograde and then do your contract, or then do your new business, or then do your new book that you're going to write, or your new speech, or whatever it is, right? But yeah, it's no big deal. That's all Mercury retrograde is, right? Okay. You have to go do some things twice. Is it the end of the world? No. Is it a disaster? No, it really isn't. So don't be like Chicken Little and say, Mercury retrograde, the sky is falling. It's not that. There are things that you can use to mitigate some of the conditions of Mercury retrograde. Like if you have to do sign a contract, or you have to do something, then you can get Mercury retrograde oil. You can get, there's tools that you have that can help you if you have to do those new things during those times. But otherwise, go with the flow. Mercury retrograde flow is like fix what you've already started. Go back and refine what you've already started. No big deal. Really is no big deal. All right. So yes, can you do magic? Absolutely. Tons of magic to make things that you've already started better. And there you go. Your relationship, your business, your career, go back, make it better. Go back and work on it. That thing you started over there, right? Perfect time for that. Anna Mansfield says, oh, I wish I could go to LA to your class. Well, you don't have to go to LA because we have it virtually and we're going to have it recorded. So even if you can't be there at the same time, you can sign up for the class and get the recordings, or you can sign up for the class and watch it live. Either way. So you don't even have to come out to LA, girl. Come on. All right. Tinka Janakova. Hi, Pamita. What are some of the things you recommend doing with your doll when you're working on a doll? I've wrapped mine in turquoise scarf and even walked with it in the park. Thoughts? Yeah. So we're talking about working Poppet magic. Poppet magic is sympathetic magic. Sympathetic magic is when you're working on one thing and you are treating it as if it has a connection to the other thing, and you're working on it like you're working on the actual thing. It doesn't have to be necessarily a person. It could be, a sympathetic magic. I have a candle that's a house candle. Maybe you want to, there's a house over there that you want that house to be your house. So you do a house candle working on the candle instead of actually working on the actual house to bind it to you or to get it to come to you or whatever it is that you want to do. But for most people, they're not working on houses. They're not working on objects. They're working on people when we do sympathetic magic. So sympathetic magic is something connected to and imitating the real thing, right? Classic example of sympathetic magic is a voodoo doll, which is just a misnomer. It's a poppet or a doll baby, a doll, right? So you have a doll and you bless that doll to be a certain person. Now, whatever you do to that doll, you're doing to that person. In the movies, scary movies, there's a voodoo doll and they're right? Of course, that's one thing you could do with a voodoo doll. Not the way I teach working with voodoo dolls, but is it a real thing? Absolutely. But can you work on a voodoo doll for love, or a poppet for love, not a voodoo doll, poppet for love? Yeah, sure. You could create a poppet, tie it, bind it, connect it to another person, and then whatever you do to that doll, you're doing to that person. So Tinka's saying what she did was she wrapped hers in a scarf. She took it for a walk. She's treating it as if it's probably her lover. I'm guessing the lover. And she's doing those very loving things like that she wants that person to do with her, right? So you can rub oils on it. You can give it a bath if you want to cleanse the situation. I mean, that's another gorgeous way to work with a poppet. And one of the ways that I actually love working with poppets. Maybe you've got someone who's not in contact with you or doesn't want to do magic or is somehow not available to you, but they need a cleanse. They've had bad luck. They've had a bad energy and negativity around them. You can do a cleanse on them with a poppet. So you take that. In my video, I show how to do this. If you go to my video page and you watch my videos, there's the one on how to make a beeswax poppet out of a beeswax candle. You take the candle that looks like a male or female, and you choose one that is the the gender that the person identifies as, and you can take that and then cleanse it, put it in a bath, create a bath just like you would create a cleansing bath, and put that doll in the bath. Beeswax poppets are perfect for this because they're not going to absorb the water like a cloth doll or a wooden doll or something like that. They're perfect for this. So you bathe it, you cleanse it, you say your prayers and your intentions over it, that you wash away any of the negativity, and you can give that poppet a bath. So there's all kinds of things that you can do. And especially you want to talk and caress it. If you're doing a love spell, caress that doll, talk to that doll, tell that doll, I love you and you're falling in love with me. Tell that doll what you want the person to do. So you're kind of commanding that person by proxy with that doll. So, but I love speaking love words to it. If you're doing a love spell on someone, my style is not like you're going to be like, you're going to do this, but it's more like, oh, you are going to open your heart to me and you're going to feel so much love and you're going to, we're going to be so happy together. Just talk to it and tell it. So that's a beautiful thing that you can do as you're putting that oil on that, and you put some love oil or whatever kind of love oil you want on that doll. Okay. Let's look at Instagram. Cloud, says, I was burning a green candle and it turned white. What might that mean? I'm guessing, I'm guessing that it wasn't one of my candles, because my green candle, that we use green wax. And I'm guessing that you had a candle that was a white candle that was dipped in green wax. I mean, that's the only thing I can think about, because a quality candle made with green dye is in the wax, it's going to be green all the way through. So I'm guessing that you had a candle that was a white candle that was dipped in green, maybe. If it was a paraffin candle, maybe that was what it was. Otherwise, I don't know, because candle wax doesn't change color unless the candle has is a one color dipped in another color. So, all right, let's look over. Mina Kittyful. So some spell work to overcome the negative effects of, say, Neptune squaring your natal Venus, if your intention is strong enough. Can spell work overcome the negative effects of your chart, your birth chart? Okay. So for the astrologer people out there, astrology, you're looking at something challenging in an astrological chart. If you're working on yourself, it doesn't say whether you're working on yourself or someone else. What I would look to is to boost the positive. If, let's say, for example, I'm not the astrology expert. I know enough about astrology, but I'm not an expert. But I'm going to say, in terms of the chart, you have some things to work with. And I would look at developing the positive aspects, like boosting those positive aspects. So let's say, for example, you had the Venus was in in Taurus, which is exalted, right? You would want to, that's a nice place to be. So even if it's squaring something that looks kind of negative, you can really boost that part of the characteristics of a Venus in Taurus, which is super sensual, really solid, consistent. And I would sit there and boost those, positive aspects, rather than try to counteract the negative aspects of it. Like boost the positive in it is going to show a better result, and it's easier to do than to try and change something that's already there. So that's where I would get to that. Without seeing the whole chart and knowing all that's going on, it's hard for me to say, but what's going on with this, and if you're doing it for someone else or you're doing it for yourself. But if you were working on it, whether you're for yourself or someone else, I'd look to try and find, where's my positive aspect in that Venus, or where's my positive aspect in whatever planet I'm looking at. Oh, there's something good in everything, no matter what. And I would look to try and boost that energy and try to mitigate some of that squaring and do it that way. But that's me. That's how I do it. All right, let's see what we've got going on. Hi, Alvin. Alvin was one of my tarot students. I'll be starting another tarot class in the spring, you guys, if you are after the holidays. Thank you. Someone said they like Neptune Deep Submerge. I like your hair. Thank you. It's kind of a little ratty. I played a concert last night. Rock and roll concert. Music. One of my bands is called the Neptunas, and you can find me on Instagram and on Facebook. And there's some pictures of me playing, but it's a little like leftover from last night. Okay. All right. Miller 7779. What spells do you suggest for a beginner? Golly gee, what's a good beginner spell? Well, for beginners, what I recommend is either going on my website, you can find spell kits. Spell kits are pretty great for beginners because they spell out single thing that you have to do. They list everything that you have to do. So you can't mess it up. I think here's what I would recommend. If you're a stone cold beginner, here's what I would recommend doing. First, go over to my website and sign up for my newsletter. When you sign up for my newsletter, I send you a free ebook. It's a beautiful, and I say this not with bragginess, but it really, really is a beautiful 30-page book that's illustrated. It's gorgeous. It's yummy. It was made by this designer. It's just a gorgeous book. It's not a schlocky book. It's not something I put together myself. I wrote it, but I had someone put together this gorgeous book. So that book is a great guide to how to do spells. And one of the things that I say in that book is that you can't mess up a spell. Like you can mess up a spell, but it's not going to mess up the situation. Meaning, if I do a spell for prosperity and I totally do something wackadoodle crazy, it's not going to make my money go worse. It's just not going to do the improvement of the money. It's just you're going to stay where you were before you did the spell. So that's really important because it helps you get over the nervousness of like, am I doing it right? Did I say the right words? Did I light it at the right time? Any spell is going to be an improvement, but if you really botch it up, you're just not going to see anything. And that's okay. You're not going to go backwards. So you can't have a, backfire on you. It's not going to backfire. No spell backfires on you. There's a misconception that you can do a love spell and have it backfire on you. You can do a money spell and have it backfire. That doesn't exist. Now, you might do a love spell, have that person come to you and then decide you don't like them. And then that's the backfire. It's like, oh boy, I got this person hanging around that I don't want. But that's not the spell's fault. That's not a backfiring of the spell. Okay. You didn't mess up the spell. You got the person to come to you, but you found out that they weren't who you wanted, who you actually wanted. So first thing I would do, go to Parlor of Wonders, sign up for the newsletter, get that free book. Okay. Read that book and go through that. It's a beautiful book. It's an amazing book. It will help you get started with spell work. The next thing I would do is watch the videos that I have up, or watch the video that we're going to show at 6:30 today on our live premiere. Chat with me there and do all that. That video, those videos that I have up show you step by step how to do a spell. And if you watch those videos, you're going to feel confident. It's like watching a cooking channel and seeing how they do a thing. I can make that. Right? I can do a deviled egg. I saw her do a deviled egg, right? So you can do it by watching it, right? Then I would say get a spell kit. Now, you can start with the easiest spells. There's some very easy spells to do. And what you could start with is working with a single candle. There are candles that I sell up on my site that are preloaded with the herbs and the oils and everything that you need. The vigil candles, the tall glass encased candles all have all the oils and the herbs to support your outcome. And they're made with beeswax. Beautiful. I also have some paraffin candles that are not made in my shop, but they're very good quality. And they have herbs and oils in them that support an outcome. And they have spell words on them and everything. All you have to do is light a candle, say your wish or intention, let that candle burn while you're awake and while you're at home. And when you go to sleep at night or you leave the house, you snuff it out, you don't blow it out, and then you relight it again when you come back, right? And you work to get that candle burned as quickly as possible. That's the easiest spell you can do. Light a candle. Totally easy, totally foolproof. You don't have to know about herbs. You don't have to know about oils. You don't have to do anything. You just light the candle. So that could be an easy thing to do. If you want to step it up a little bit, get a spell kit. Spell kit's going to have directions on how to do the spell. First do this, then do this, then do this. I have candle spell kits. I've got incense spell kits. I've got spell kits working with herbs and curios and mojo bag kits, everything, all kinds of kits. And the kit has full-on directions on how to do it every step of the way so that you don't have to guess. Got videos showing you how to do spell work. You can buy those components that you see in the videos and do the spell yourself. All easy to be done. So first sign up for the email list, get that newsletter. Get the newsletter. Yeah, that'll help. Sometimes I send the newsletter out like once every 2 months. You'll get a newsletter. I'm not the best at that, but better that than a bunch of spam, I guess. But you can get that book, and that book is going to help guide you. And that's a free book that I give. Or if you don't want to sign up, the other thing is, if you don't want to sign up for the newsletter, I sell the book, and you can buy that book as a download online, and it's $20. So I think it's a good deal to get it for free. Sign up for the newsletter and you get it for free, or you can buy it for $20. So there you go, and get started that way. All right. Let's Jill Ion says, why do I get different answers depending on who I talk to in the spirit realm? Okay, that's a good question. Do guides and beings in the spirit realm have different opinions on conditions in a person's life? No, they should all, your guide counsel, what I'm getting, maybe you don't have, I can't ask you the question, so I don't know the details of this. But you may be asking your guide counsel, but you also may be getting other spirits who are not in your guide counsel talking to you. So it's really important when we do spirit work, and I don't emphasize this enough because I kind of already usually think people are already doing this, but maybe you guys don't know this. I'm a spiritualist. I talk to spirits. I talk to guides. I talk to spirit guides. I do that whole thing, right? When we talk to guides, we want to invite in guides who are of the highest vibration, who are in our guide council, and who have clear information for us. So when I go to speak to someone else's guides, I have a client and I'm doing a spirit guide session with them, I connect with their guides and I ask to speak to that person's guides. I ask to speak to guides of the highest vibration and only the guides in their guide council, right? And the ones that have clear information. So understanding the guide council, you have guides that are specific for certain areas. If you have a guide, let's say, that's going to help with money and career, all right, you have a specific dilemma going on. I need a job where I make more money. You can ask for the guide to step forward who is the best one to help you with that, the best of your guide counsel, so that you're not getting stray information from here, there, and everywhere. Same thing when you guys do a Ouija board. I can tell you this. I mean, I don't know how many times I've said this, but it's really important when you're contacting the spirit realm that you're not just letting anybody in. You wouldn't open your front door and go off on vacation and leave your front door open. Why? Because who knows? Squatters could come in, robbers could come in, people that want to eat the food out of your fridge could come in. Anybody could come in, right? It's the same thing with spirit work. You don't just go, okay, I want to talk to some spirits, because you may get good spirits and you may get mischievous spirits. You may get evil spirits. You don't know what you're asking in. So before you do any spirit work, you want to specify who you're inviting in, who you are connecting with. It's like, you don't call a random number and start talking to somebody on the phone, right? You call the number for the friend that you want to talk to or the person that you want to talk to. So the same thing with spirit communication. First of all, ask only to speak to spirits of the highest vibration. There's no point in speaking to spirits that are not of the highest vibration. I mean, maybe you have a reason to do it, but I don't know what that reason is. Okay, but you want to talk to spirits of the highest vibration, not low vibration spirits. Secondly, you want to talk to your guide council. So you ask to go into your Akashic records and you ask the guardians and the guides of your Akashic records if you may come in there and meet with them. All right, and then you go in there and you're meeting with your guide council. Then once you're in there, you want to speak to the guide that has the specific specialty of working on what it is that you're working on. I have a situation where I'm arguing with my sister, and I want to talk to the guide who's going to be most helpful in giving me guidance about that. You don't want to talk to the guide that specializes in work-related stuff to talk about your interpersonal issue with your sister or your brother, right? You want to talk to the guide that's the specialist in that area. So that's maybe why I'm guessing, Jill, that you might be having an issue where there are guides that are not in your council, or spirits that are not in your council, or spirits not of a high vibration that are giving you answers to things. Because guide councils, it's like the way the guide councils work is they're either all in unison. Sometimes I hear the whole guide council say yes to something. They all know, yes, this is going to be okay. Yes, you're going to have this, situation. This is going to work out for you and this is going to be fine. Or no, don't do that, or whatever. They may all come in unison and say something. Or sometimes one guide comes forward and says something. But never do I have a situation where one guide in somebody's guide council says yes and another guide says no. And that tells me a little hint that you might be getting in some stray outside comments from guides, either spirits that are not high vibration or spirits that are not in your guide council. So do those little tips before you go in. And once you are finished with your session of speaking to your guides, then you say, thank you for allowing, spending this time with me. Thank you for your guidance. Or you thank them, and then you close the records. So that's what you do. All right, just one more question, and then we're going to go over to that. I'm going to post it again in case it's not there. I'm posting over in YouTube the link to our chat room where we're going to type chat. We're going to talk about the video. We're going to talk about love spells, and we're going to talk about candle spells in relation to love spells specifically. Questions about passion, things, whatever's on your mind in regards to doing love work, in regards to doing spell work, and in regards to doing candle work. So we're going to keep it on that topic, and we're going to go over there. We're going to chat at 6 p.m. But we have time for a couple more questions. That will be over on YouTube, you guys, and the YouTube comments on the chat here. And I'll make a comment under the video too, if you missed it. All right, let's see what we got here on Instagram. Oh, okay. You guys are so sweet. All right. Vita Perfect says, what's the difference between a bona fide candle and a blessed money candle? Bona fide abundant prosperity. So bona fide root work is the name of my wholesale business, but now I'm changing it. So there's your Mercury retrograde, going back and revisiting things and fixing them. So bona fide root work was my company, but I'm changing it just to Madame Pamita because people didn't understand that was my other company, my wholesale company. So it's all changing now. But so the bona fide root work vigil candles are just beeswax vigil candles. And the blessed herbal candles are not made by me. They're made by Coventry Creations, and those are paraffin candles. So the beeswax vigil candles have that extra oomph of the beeswax. That's one difference between them. But the paraffin candles are beautiful because the herbs and the oils in them are amazing. So don't get me wrong. I'm not selling, it's not like there's garbage and good. They're both great. But there's just two different modalities. One is the blessed herbal candles need to be put in a glass jar of some kind. The vigil candles are already in a glass jar. So you could have like a jelly jar or some kind of votive holder or something like that to put your candle in. I sell the glass holders that I think are the very, very best because they're heavy. They're just the right size for the blessed herbal candles and the Motor City Hoodoo candles. Those candles are beautiful candles, and they're made by Coventry Creations. They're great, and they've worked for me great, and they're fantastic. They're a little less expensive. They're $15 versus $26 for the vigil candle. So there's a price difference because the beeswax costs more than paraffin, and so there's that. So that really the only difference is what you prefer. Do you want a dressed and blessed candle that's been dressed and blessed by us at the shop, or do you want one that's made, very carefully made, but made somewhere else? And do you want the less expensive one or the more expensive one? Do you want the slower one or do you want the faster one? I mean, the Coventry Creation candles burn faster because they're smaller, and those vigil candles are very big, so they burn slower. But maybe you want to work on something over time, or maybe you want it right now. So that's another consideration. Size of candle has to do with the timing. So I think those are the sort of things of why you would choose one over the other. It's kind of like, do you want spaghetti or do you want lasagna? I don't know, what is it that you are looking for, in your meal? That's going to decide for you. Same thing here. What are you looking for in your spell? It's just a little bit of difference between them, but those differences might be important to you, So that's the difference between them. Not much. One's made by someone else. One's made by me. One's hand dressed in the shop. One is made in a small factory, but it's made by people that are in, caring people. It's not made in, sweatshop or something like that. So anything like that. These are good quality candles all across the board. I don't sell candles that are not useful and not good. So, all right, my loves. Well, our time is coming to the end. It's 5:59. So I'll see you over on YouTube. Stick around, go to that link. So it's not going to be here. This is going to shut down. It's definitely shutting down for the Instagram people. It's going to shut down for YouTube people. And then we'll jump over to that link that I sent you. We'll meet over there. We'll have a text chat about love spells, and I'll answer his questions as fast as I can, as fast as my little fingers will type. And we'll have some fun with this premiere. And then the video is premiering at 6:30. So we'll talk while that video is going. I have no idea what's going to happen. It'll be a big surprise. Anyway, love you guys. I'll see you next week. Love you so much. Check out my mastermind group if you're interested in mastermind group. Get in touch with me. You can get in touch with me on Instagram direct messages. My Instagram people can't see that, but well, hopefully they can. Instagram direct message can always reach me, and you can leave a comment, or you can go over to the my website and find out about that. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful evening. I'll see you over at the link. All right. See you over there. Bye. Let me get this one, and I'm going to shut down this one, and we'll go over there. All right.